Thank you. Beautiful. Very nice. Rania, good to see you. Thank you. Haribol. And who else have we got here? Pinky, where are you? Katrina, where are you? Elisa, how do you pronounce that? Elisaveta. Elizaveta or Elizaveta? Anyway, Makunda Dasi, Daryl, always nice to see you, even though I can't. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Please accept my obeisances. And let me offer my obeisances at the lotus feet of my spiritual masters. Namo Siddha Swarupananda Paramahansa Namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate. Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschati De Satarine. Vanchakalpatribhyascha Kripasindubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Somebody asked me what the fasting, we're celebrating the appearance of Lord Nishinga on Tuesday. But in the meantime, we're celebrating all the way through till Tuesday. And somebody asked me, what is the fasting requirement on Lord Nishinga's appearance? And so I looked it up, and it's fasting until dusk, fasting until sunset. So, so get ready to, get ready to fast on Tuesday from dawn till dusk, okay? Namaste. Haribol. Haribol. On Tuesday, we'll be talking about Lord Nishingadev. We'll be reciting the prayers, some of the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. Also, Bhakti Vinod Thakur wrote 5 prayers to Lord Nishinga, and a number of other great devotees in our line have written some prayers, and I'd like to share them with you. So I hope you'll be able to join us on Tuesday. Maybe by that time you'll actually be able to have something to eat before the class, so you'll be ready to listen and not have your stomachs growling from fasting all day. Can everybody hear me all right? Yeah? Okay. Thank you. Namaste. Alan, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. This is chapter 26. Stimulation for ecstatic love. What stimulates ecstatic love in a devotee? What qualities does a person have that makes you love that person? Generosity, or how they look, or how they dress, or, so many things. Well, those are simply perverted reflections of how a devotee is stimulated to ecstatic love by so many different qualities of Krishna. Some of the things that give us impetus or stimulation to ecstatic love of Krishna include his transcendental qualities, his uncommon activities, his smiling features, his apparel and his garlands, his flute, his buffalo horn, his leg bells, his conch shell, his footprints, the very places of his pastimes in places like Vrindavan, his favorite plant, Tulsi Devi, his devotees, and the periodical occasions for remembering him. One such occasion for remembrance of the Lord is Ekadasi, which comes twice every month, on the 11th day of the moon, both waning and waxing. On that day, all the devotees will fast throughout the night and continuously chant the glories of the Lord. Krishna's transcendental qualities, his uncommon activities, and his smile. As far as transcendental qualities are concerned, they can be divided into three groups: qualities pertaining to his transcendental body, qualities pertaining to his transcendental speaking, and qualities pertaining to his transcendental mind. Krishna's age, his transcendental bodily features. I mean, just the fact that Krishna never gets older than about his young 30s is just, I mean, isn't that cool? So many things about Krishna would be impetus to our ecstatic love for him. His beauty and his mildness are qualities pertaining to his body. And there is no difference between Krishna and his body, unlike ourselves. And therefore, the transcendental features pertaining to his body are the same as Krishna himself. But because these qualities stimulate the devotee's ecstatic love, they have been analyzed as separate causes of that love. To be attracted by the qualities of Krishna means to be attracted by Krishna himself, because there is no real distinction between Krishna and his qualities. Krishna's name is also Krishna. Krishna's fame is also Krishna. Krishna's entourage is also Krishna. Krishna and everything related to Krishna, which gives stimulation to love of Krishna, they are all Krishna. But for our understanding, we may consider these things separately. Krishna is the reservoir of all transcendental pleasure. What does that mean? What is a reservoir? Well, a reservoir is the source. A source. Like if you have water coming out of your tap in your home, it doesn't just magically come out of your tap. There is a reservoir of water somewhere in the mountains or something that is the source of the water that comes out of your tap. And so, similarly, Krishna is this reservoir of transcendental pleasure. Therefore, the impetus to love of Krishna, although it is seemingly different, are not actually distinct from Krishna. In the technical Sanskrit term, these qualities, such as Krishna's name and fame, are accepted both as reservoirs of and as stimulation for love of Krishna. Krishna's age is considered to be, is considered in 3 periods. From his appearance day to the end of his 5th year, he is called KAUMARA. From the beginning of his 6th year up till the end of his 10th year, these years are called PAUGANDA. And from the 11th year to the end of the 15th year, these years are called KAISORA. So Krishna's age, his childhood age, are considered from KAUMARA to PAUGANDA to KAISORA. And after the beginning of his 16th year, Krishna is called Yovana, or a youth, a young man. And this continues into his centennial years with no change and forever. As far as Krishna's transcendental pastimes are concerned, they are mostly executed during the KAUMARA, PAUGANDA, and KAISORA periods. The KAUMARA age, his affectionate pastimes with his parents are executed. His friendship with the cowherd boys is exhibited during the PAUGANDA period. And his friendship with the gopis is at his KAISORA period, which begins at the age of 10. So he was still quite the youngster when he began his transcendental loving affairs with the gopis. Krishna's pastimes at Vrindavan are finished by the end of his 15th year. And then he is transferred to Mathura and Dwarka, where all the other pastimes are performed. Srila Rupa Goswami gives us a vivid description of Krishna as the reservoir of all pleasure in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Here are a few parts of that description. Krishna's KAISORA age may be divided into 3 parts. In the beginning of his KAISORA age, that is, at the beginning of his 11th year, the luster of his body becomes so bright that it becomes an impetus for ecstatic love. Similarly, there are reddish borders around his eyes and a growth of soft hairs on his bodies. In describing this early stage of his KAISORA age, Kundalata, one of the residents of Vrindavan, said to her friend, "My dear friend, I have just seen an extraordinary beauty appearing in the person of Krishna. His blackish bodily hue appears just like the Indranila jewel, and there are reddish signs on his eyes, and small, tough, soft hairs are coming out on his body. The appearance of all of these symptoms has made him extraordinarily beautiful." In this connection, in the 10th canto, 21st chapter, verse 5 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadev Goswami tells King Parikshit, "My dear king, I shall now try to describe how the minds of the gopis became absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. The gopis would meditate on Krishna's dressing himself just like that of a dancing actor, and entering the forest of Vrindavan, marking the ground with his footprints. They would meditate upon Krishna's having a helmet with a peacock feather and wearing earrings upon his ears and yellow gold-colored garments covered with jewels and pearls. They also meditated on Krishna's blowing his flute, his transcendental flute, and on all the cowherd boys singing the glories of the Lord. This is from the description of the meditation which the gopis would perform. Sometimes the gopis would think about his soft nails, his moving eyebrows, and his teeth, which were ketechu colored from chewing pan. One description was given by a gopi to her friend. "My dear friend, just see how the enemy of Aghasura has assumed such wonderful features. His eyebrows are just like the brows of Cupid, and they are moving just as though they were dancing. The tips of his nails are so soft. It is as if they were dried bamboo leaves. His teeth are reddish, and so it appears that he has assumed a feature of anger. Under the circumstances, where is the chance? How is it possible for a young girl not to be attracted by such beautiful features and not to be afraid of becoming a victim to such transcendental beauty?" Krishna's attractive features are also described by Vrinda, the gopi after whom Vrindavan is named. She told Krishna, "My dear Madhava, your newly invented smile has so captivated the hearts of the gopis that they are simply unable to express themselves. And because of this, they have become bewildered and they cannot talk with others. All of these gopis have become so affected that it's as if they had offered sprinkles of water upon their lives. In other words, they've given up all hope for their living condition. According to the Indian system, when a person is dead, there is a sprinkling of water upon the body. Thus, the statement of Vrinda shows that the gopis were so enchanted by the beauty of Krishna that because they couldn't even express their minds, they decided they had to commit suicide. When Krishna arrived at the age of 13 to 14, his two arms and chest assumed an unspeakable beauty, and his whole form became absolutely enchanting. When Krishna attained 13 years of age, his thighs were challenging the trunks of elephants. His rising chest was trying to come to peace talks with doors of jewels. And his two arms were minimizing the value of the bolts found on the doors. Who can describe the wonderful beauty of these features of Krishna? The special beauty of Krishna's body was his mild smiling, his restless eyes, and his world-enchanting songs. These are the special features of this age. There is a statement in this connection that Krishna, on arriving at this age, manifests such amazing bodily features that his restless eyes became the playthings of Cupid, and his mild smile resembled the newly grown lotus flower. The enchanting vibration of his songs became a great impediment to the work and the livelihood of young girls who were supposed to remain chaste and remain faithful to their husbands. At this age, Krishna enjoyed the Rasa Leela, exhibiting his power of joking with the cowherd girls and enjoying their company in the bushes and gardens by the banks of the Jamuna River. In this connection, there is a statement. Throughout the whole tract of land known as Vrindavan, there were the footprints of Krishna and the gopis. And in some places, peacock feathers were strewn about. In some places, there were nice bedding in the bushes of Vrindavan's gardens. And in some places, there were piles of dust that had been raised due to group dancing of Govinda and the gopis. These are some of the features that are due to the different pastimes invented by Sri Krishna in this amazing place known as Vrindavan. There's the statement by one gopi describing Krishna's attractive features during this age. "My dear friend," she said, "just see how all of a sudden in the sky of Krishna there is a powerful rising sun, and how this rising sun is minimizing the rays of our chastity moon. Our attraction for Krishna is so intense that it dries up the lotus flower of our discrimination. And we are losing our senses in deciding whether we shall continue as chaste women or allow ourselves to be victimized by the amazing beauty of Krishna. My dear friend, I think that we have lost all hope of life." So the gopis would fight against, knowing that even in the transcendental realm, this is the essence of their love. This is that they are married and they are pure-hearted women, but on a transcendental level, they are completely overwhelmed by their attraction for Krishna. They cannot fight it. They're so overcome by this loving emotion that they think the only way that they could possibly win is to kill themselves. It's the only way they can get rid of this overwhelming feeling of love for Krishna. This is how intense their loving devotion is. In the KAISORA age, beginning from the 11th year and continuing up to the 15th year, Krishna's arms, his legs and thighs become marked with 3 divisional lines. At that time, Krishna's chest challenged the hill of Marakata. The jewels on his arms challenged the pillars of Indranila. And the 3 lines of his waist challenged the waves of the river Jamuna. As well as his thighs, which challenged the beautiful bananas. One gopi said, with all of these exquisite features of his body, Krishna is too extraordinarily beautiful. And therefore, I'm always thinking of him. I'm always thinking of him to protect me because he is the killer of all demons. The idea that's expressed in this statement is that the gopis were comparing their attraction for Krishna to an attack by a demon. And to counteract their attraction for the beauty of Krishna, they were also turning to Krishna, hopefully because as the killer of all kinds of demons, they would protect them from him. In other words, they were perplexed because on the one hand, they were attracted by the beauty of Krishna, and on the other, they needed Krishna to drive away the demon of their attraction to Krishna. This is the fundamental, I can't think of the right word, the fundamental essence of love for Krishna. That your attraction is so great, you know that you have there's no way that you can avoid this attraction, and yet you take shelter in Krishna because as the killer of all demons, he might be able to save you from your attraction to him. This is the coming together of two seemingly impossible things. And this is the beauty of bhakti. This KAISORA age can be translated as adolescence. At the end of this period, all the gopis said, Krishna is the killer of the attraction of Cupid. And as such, he disturbs the patience of all the newly married girls in Vrindavan. Krishna's bodily features have become so exquisite. It is as if they were all manifesting an artistic sense of the highest sort. His dancing eyes have dimmed the brilliance of the most expert dancer. And so, there is no longer any comparison to the beauty of Krishna. Many learned scholars therefore describe the features of his body at this time as Navayovana, newly invented youthfulness. At this stage of Krishna's bodily features, the conjugal love affairs with the gopis and similar pastimes become very, very prominent. This was his main pastimes. There are 6 features of conjugal love affairs called peacemaking, picking a quarrel, going to meet one's lover, sitting together, separation, and support. Lord Krishna expanded an empire of these 6 features, of which he was the ruling prince. Somewhere he was picking quarrels with the young girls. Elsewhere he's scratching them with the nails of parrots. Somewhere he was busy going to visit the gopis. And somewhere else he's negotiating through his cowherd friends that he would like to take shelter of the gopis. Some of the gopis addressed Krishna, "My dear Krishna, because of your adolescent age, you have just become the spiritual master of all these young girls. And you are teaching them to whisper among themselves. You are teaching them to offer solemn prayers. And you are training them to cheat their husbands and to join you in the gardens in the nighttime without caring for the instructions of their superiors. You are enthusing them by the vibration of your enchanting transcendental flute. And as their teacher, you are teaching them all the intricacies of loving affairs. It is said that even when Krishna was a boy of only 5 years, he manifests such youthful energies. But learned scholars do not explain them because of the absence of suitable age. Krishna was beautiful because every part of his body was perfectly arranged without any defect. Such perfect bodily features of Krishna are described. My dear enemy of Kamsa, your broad eyes, your rising chest, your 2 pillar-like arms, and the thin middle portion of your body at your waist. They are always enchanting to every lotus-eyed beautiful girl. The ornaments on the body of Krishna were not actually enhancing the beauty of Krishna at all, but rather it was just the reverse. The ornaments were beautified by Krishna. The jewels, his clothing, all the decorations of his body were beautified by him. A person is called mild when he cannot even bear the touch of the most soft thing. It was described that every part of Krishna's body every part of his body was so soft that even the touch of newly grown leaves, the color of the touched part of his skin would change. At this KAISORA age, Krishna's endeavors were always bent towards arranging the rasa dance. Yes, he also killed the demons in the forest of Vrindavan, while Krishna was engaged in enjoyment with his boys and girls in the forest of Vrindavan. And of course, Kamsa used to send his associates to try and kill Krishna. And Krishna would show his prowess by killing them. But mostly his mind was on the gopis and the rasa dance, what might take place later that evening. So, I think we'll stop there. Which means that we have to wait 2 more times. We have to wait 2 more sessions before we can get to the rest of this. This is just getting into the good part. This is just really just beginning to touch on the amazing pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan. This overwhelming transcendental lust that the gopis displayed is not like anything we can experience in this realm. We have to enter the transcendental realm, and this should be our goal. And it's all there. It's all there within his name. It's all there within our service, following the instructions of our spiritual master. All this is there. All this is there. All we need to do is serve Krishna. Follow the instructions of our spiritual master. And we can begin to... It's interesting, I was just reading how a devotee in this world who comes to the point of this Madhurya Leela, of this just uncontrollable desire to be with Krishna, they don't manifest it in externally. They keep it within themselves. It's something that's very private, very personal. They don't go around wearing saris. They don't go around, you know, showing they're calling out and making some show of this is Prakriti Sahaja. The great devotees that have this Madhurya Leela in their heart, the great Vaishnavas, this is something that is within their heart, something that is internalized, and something that they don't necessarily manifest, at least not often in this world. So it's not like the goal is to be going around like Lord Chaitanya and, you know, crying out and fainting and engaging in so many external activities in this way. The internal pastimes that a devotee, a great devotee has with Krishna are all played out in the transcendental realm within. So, are there any questions? Davey, it's good to see you again. I haven't seen you for a long time.
HARIBOL, namaste.
Namaste.
No, I've been working as always, but not today.
Yeah, I know. Believe me, I've been there. I'm too old for that shit now. Nobody wants me to work for them. That's why.
It sounds good. Sounds good to stop. Too much work's not good. But yeah, very nice to see you anyway. And that was really amazing, the things that you've been reading today. So wow. So my question is, you mentioned something about Cupid. I've heard Cupid,
Cupid, the god of love.
I've heard Cupid mentioned before in scripture. Is Cupid anything to do with the little angel guy with the hearts and arrows?
Well, that's, you know, the Greek gods and the Roman gods, I think, you know, I'm speculating to a degree, but, you know, it seems to me that they're really basically, they're perverted manifestations of the Vedic demigods. You know, they've got Zeus, Indra, they've got, you know, all these different things. And when Bhaktivedanta Swami says Cupid, he's talking about KAUMARA, the Lord of the senses. And Krishna is known as KAUMARA, which means the Lord of the senses. So when we speak of Cupid, you know, you can think of the little angel that you know, pokes people with arrows and things like that. But the idea is that that he's, you know, going around saying, okay, love Krishna, love Krishna, love Krishna, love Krishna, you know, to all these poor gopis who are trying to, you know, be good, chaste, wives, you know, and do the right thing. But they're finding themselves completely destroyed by Kamadev, the Lord of the senses. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you very much.
Haribol. Any other question? Don't be shy. 5, 4, 3, 2,
I have
1.
one more then.
Uh-oh. Boy, just in time.
I was not going to ask another one in case anybody else did, but since it's just me, I'll go for another one.
All right.
You also mentioned you were reading something about the color of Krishna as blackish.
Yes.
So also heard that the color of Krishna is like bluish or grayish. So does his color change?
No.
Depending on his
No,
or something.
It's a question of perception. You know, he's described in many different ways. You know, you see something in one light, it looks this color. You see something in another light, it looks that color. So you know, his skin is dark. I mean, his skin, his coloration is dark, and you know, he's described as being like a black thundercloud. You know, and if you see a thundercloud, actually you can see a lot of different dark colors in a thundercloud. So there's this is why when you see, you know, pictures of Krishna, you may see him as a kind of a light blue, you may see him as kind of a darkish blue or blue gray or something like that. You know, and actually also, like, you know, if you go to a temple of Krishna, many of the temples of Krishna in India, you'll see a black Krishna. I mean, black, like your shirt, you know. So, you know, it's a matter of perception, how we perceive him, you know, in this way. He's described as blackish or dark blue, or, you know, but it always kind of amazes me that in this Kali Yuga, here you have God, who is described as being blackish, and yet the most horribly treated people in the world are the blackish people. The more color you have, the more horribly you're treated. And this is, you know, like such a perversion of Kali Yuga is such a weird time. It's very strange. It's very ironic. So, yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, very wonderful. Thank you.
I mean, you go to somebody's house and you say, oh, you know, oh, your house looks so beautiful, you know, such a beautiful shade of brown. It's not brown, it's adobe. You know, it's a question of you know, perception. So any other question? Namaste. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very, very much for listening to my prattering on. And I just hope that my spiritual master has given me some ability to communicate Krishna with all of you. Let me turn it over now to Narayan Dasi. Namaste, Narayan Dasi. Haribol.
Namaste, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your coming and for your precious time. Always take care. See you soon. All glories to Shiguru and Shiguranga. Jaya Jaya. Lord Narashinghadeyv. Haribol, namaste, everyone.